A cage that echoes through the roots of these rivers. A silent rage that still plays through the hearts of these killers. I wonder when the night falls and the days long rested. These red and blue lights never led us to heights beyond our wildest imagination. Only mass incarceration. Slave trade from prison to prison like Jordan for Pippen. Baby, that's a bad deal. When the sound of a gun jamming is glory to another nigga's story, you gotta get past the killers just to make it to the schoolyard. And your teacher think it's school hard, clueless to how they do this. But any given moment, life can be gone. One hot bullet that strayed too wrong. In the cage that echoes.
My dad was from Enterprise, Mississippi. Looking for better employment, they moved down to Biloxi, down on the coast. And I actually was supposed to be a Biloxi baby, but I was in the belly. And the family was enlarging, and so my dad moved up here. And so I was born and raised in Racine. Then we moved to Racine Street, 1709, good old 1709, right around the corner from Les and Nez. Anybody remember that? They know what it was. Yeah, Racine native, 54 years, born and raised. Over on 17th, we had a store named James. Black guy, had good hair, and had a little, I used to go around the corner and get the ring bologna with the red rag around it. Mama sent me around there. But dude was always out of stuff, so then I would have to walk down to Wells Brothers, which seemed like it was like 5 miles back then. Southside, unequivocally, was number one when it came to the fashion. But the money actually was on the north side. It was more money on the north side, but north side per se didn't have the swag. Cats on the south side had jerry curls, the coat, when the curl came out, all the cats on the south had the cold curl. Cats just knew how to dress. Cats had cars. And but the money was really, because when we got into the game, the south side didn't have nothing but a whole lot of beggars and fiends. And I was a nice dope man. I actually gave away more dope than I sold. You know, when everybody done spent their hard-earned money, they'd come back to me and they had $10, $11. I didn't turn no money away. Oh man, let me owe you now, man. Just give me that money and go on. You know what I'm saying? Then they spent all their money and I would give them some. But actually, the North had the money. But the North side had a standard too. If you was from South side of Midtown, you couldn't go no further than State Street. So we set up some spots. But if we went anywhere further, like Geneva or Hamilton, they popped at us. Now, we wasn't in the gang. We made our own gang. We was called a posse. Southside was basically GD. Midtown had the homeboys, but they would roll with the GD before they would roll. And the South and the North side was all Vice Lord. We wasn't in no gang. The gang thing was like never my thing. I was like, man, I'm not following nobody, don't know more than I know. Nigga, you gotta know more than I know for me to run behind you and listen. I'm like, I don't need nobody to tell me how to get this money. I was gonna stay fresh. I was gonna get that money. And I was gonna get them women. It was a 3, all that other fighting and all that, I was never with that.
Man, I just heard about like 9, 10 shots go off. I'm sirens. I already knew it was a bad deal once them sirens hit, man. You know, this so chaotic, man. The summer ain't even hit yet, so this just let me know what it's gonna be like in the summer, man. I don't know what our mayor doing. I don't know what the police task force doing, but something gotta give, man. You see this? Or somebody's brother, somebody's grandson that was laying out there today, or we got shut up. You know what I'm saying? I grew up 10 times worse than this. We from Chicago. When we moved up here, it was peaceful. Now it's like this, like the OK Corral, son. You hear this every day. A lot of people don't got fathers or big uncles to teach them right from wrong, because half of them probably still out here themselves. But ain't nothing out there, ain't no future out there. The only future you got out here, you keep running these streets. You see that? And back of one of those, somebody in your family standing behind this yellow tape crying for you. And I'm gonna go to war for you to prevent that from happening. I'm gonna put my foot on your neck to make sure you do everything possible that you can do to get yourself up out the situation.
When women in Chicago saw that for them 4 babies they had in Chicago, they were paying women in Racine to have one baby. That's what changed Racine as we know it right now. Don't nobody never talk about that, but that's what changed, because Racine used to have these billboards. They used to have these billboards around Racine. It used to be like Racine, ... a great place to live. When them Chicago Negroes came down to Racine, they turned Racine inside out and upside down. And Racine was never the same. But welfare, when a woman realized, so if they giving in Illinois, they getting $600, just example, I don't know the number, I'm just gonna throw some numbers out there. They got 4 kids, they get $750. You got 4 kids in Racine, you getting $2,200. Oh, that's just a hop, skip down the road. I'm gonna go down there and I'm gonna get that money. They got 4 kids. Then they realize they still got a guy, or they got a baby daddy back in the city. Baby, I got this money up here, man, and people been asking me about some dope, where I can get some dope from. Here come the guys. The guys come down. Chicago mentality. Chicago always been cut from a different cloth. Racine was small. We didn't have a lot of that renegade. We just gonna take. Everybody knew everybody in Racine, and if they didn't know you, and somebody said your last name, they'd be like, "You Ken so and so." Everybody knew everybody in Racine, but when that Chicago thing came, didn't nobody know nobody no more.
Why are we killing each other? Why? This is exactly what they want. We going backwards. We're gonna be extinct again like animals. Why? Come talk to an old nigga. Come talk to an OG. Your life can't be that much different from me growing up. If I can make it to 60-something years old, if I just say one person, just one, that's all he asks, just one. Why? Go to the gym, put on some boxing gloves, box this shit out like we did. If you get whooped, you get whooped, you lived another day. This right here, you done messed up somebody's whole family and yours, if that's the case. Stop the killing. Put the guns down. Fight a nigga. If you whoop me, you whoop me. But I live another day.
I just know what comes with the streets. You out there playing around in them. I just know what comes with the streets. So I mentally prepare myself for this, for any one of my children, just because the reality of it, and that's sad that we have to, as parents, young Black men, to prepare ourselves to bury them one day and have to live with it. You don't want calls late at night. You don't want knocks on your door late at night. You constantly own them, especially if you're a grounded, involved parent. You own them, you constantly talking to them, bothering them, and now they getting mad at you. So you got to deal with that, come back. So, it's just something, 2005, I moved to Atlanta, stayed there 12 years. He was 1 year old when I moved there. And my younger son, he was in my belly. I stayed there 12 years. I came back to Racine for my husband, to help him. I figured Racine's small enough spot, because it's home, and fussing, violence and different stuff going on. I could come here and do that. So I came here and I stayed like 2 years and I moved to New Orleans. I took my children, we moved to New Orleans, and they were 11, 12 at the time, to New Orleans, and we stayed there 4 years, and he started gravitating to the negativity. Dontrell started gravitating to the negativity, and so it's like, you know what? May 13th of 2017, I sent them right back to Racine, to my brother. And my brother, youth minister, very active with the youth and that. I was like, he could do it. I sent him to him. And that's what I did, sent him up here.
Trail, from what I know, him and his mother relationship was kind of erratic a little bit, little, you know how everything ain't really smooth. And so Tay-Ball, which is Trail's uncle, I met him through him because Lovey came up there a few times, but Tay-Ball started working at Horlick, so he was telling me that was his nephew. And Trail was went from like that first year he was real quiet, kind of trying to fill it out. The next year, he got like live. He was just like, I'm like, is that the same dude that came in? You know what I'm saying? He was like, he went from being like the little scrub on the water. Next year, it was like he was about to be the man. And you know, he was really about to blow up, but he had that swagger. You know, some people, man, I tell people, man, y'all don't understand, man. Some of this stuff can't be bought. It got to be birthed. Trail he was on his way.
COVID hit, boy, COVID. COVID was a dangerous, COVID hit. No more sports, no more school, no more nothing. So they, you know, idle mind is the devil's playground. They trying to find any outlet to just do whatever they want to do. He turning 17, he's working, he worked. Because I established that foundation. You're going to work. You're going to provide for yourself. You're going to take care of yourself. So he worked, went to school. He did everything. We were finding AAU camps to go to. It was just too much going on at COVID time. Kids was out here running, taking care of themselves. Parents working 2 and 3 jobs, trying to maintain, trying to take care of their children, maintain this illusion of a lifestyle that they're giving these kids, especially here in our town. You know, everything got to be name brand, everything got to be this and Jordans. That's the wrong foundation we setting for them kids. And I'm gonna say we, because you know, I had him at 27, so I had already matured and knew better. So I definitely showed them a lot of love and a lot of structure, you know. But the other child was lost. And he felt my son was smiling, so he killed him. And that is so unnecessary to even think like that. That's what he gave to the police. I shot him because they smiled at me. He smiled at me and other people looked like they were gonna attack me or something. I'm not sure, but yeah, that was the senseless, you know, crime that took my baby away because he smiled at somebody. Crazy.
He got took out before the greatness could be saw in him. That dude was going somewhere. I seen it in him.
This is where I cremated him. He's in this here box. Yeah. I put my foot down. He knew right from wrong. He was well grounded.
Oh, Lord. Oh, my God. Where she shot at? Where she shot at?
Kids at school have been telling me about this thing called a switch. It's the thing on a gun that make the gun just throw up. You know how you can imitate with a gun? The switch, you can't imitate how fast them bullets come out. It'll do a 200 clip in less than 5 seconds. So if you go back and see the video, you really can't even hear the first part, which was that switch. That's why I was still up. But you know what it sounded like? A water hose. The first, if you go back and look at it, when you start hearing all that, that's when I got down because I heard the girl say, they shot me. But when the switch came, it said, shh. That's how the bullets came out. It sounded like a metal water hose. That's only the closest, it just said, shh. And in that probably was 70 bullets, that noise. I don't know who invented that thing, but it's illegal. They need to give somebody life to get caught with that thing. But that was the first part. And so, like I said, if you go back and look at the video, I was still standing. I hadn't heard that sound. And I'm like, I was getting ready to read my little committal thing. And I was like, I kind of like looked up and I'm like, dang, well, they could have said they was going to do that. And I would have paused. You know, I'm thinking it was part of the ceremony. And so then I heard all the other, boom, boom. And so then when I heard the girl say, I'm hit, I said, oh, they shooting. And somebody grabbed me down and they pulled me down. And so I'm laying on the ground and I'm still hearing the fire. And so it was a space about maybe 18 inches. The body of the young man was on the thing that lowered him into the ground, right? And there was a space about 18 inches so I could see. but I couldn't see no face. I just seen like from the hip to like the knee. And I seen somebody running toward the casket and they was still busting. And I'm like, I better get up and run because it looked like he was running toward the coffin. And so then my mind was like, you in the cemetery, ain't nowhere to run in the cemetery. It's broad daylight. So I said, I better just lay here and play dead and pray. And so I was praying with my eyes open. Lord, have mercy. Lord, please have mercy. A couple people tripped on me. He tripped on me. 2 people like stepped on me. And so I laid there and I was about to get up again and pause. And there was this utter chaos, people screaming, yelling. And then somebody got to busting again.
Somebody else shot. Oh, shit. Oh, fuck.
Like I said, if you go back and look, it was like 4 different kind of guns with the firing. So I just laid there. I'm just like, I'm mentally dead. And so so somebody came by and said, Pastor Ford, you hit? I said, no, man, I'm just gonna lay here for a minute. I was trying to get my mind back in my head because all my brains was just like mentally spilled out at what had just happened. And I think I really laid there like 3 minutes. A couple people came by and checked on me, but I didn't get up. I wasn't ready to get up. And somebody finally came and I got up. And the police, they had came in when I got up and I seen the girl. And I heard stories about how blood, if it hit a certain artery, how it just skeed out like a water hole, but I never saw it, but I saw it that day. And it was like every time that girl breathed, or every time it was like a pulsation, man, the blood was like a water hose. That girl was bleeding like a hog, man. And somebody had took their shirt off so the police could make a tourniquet. They was trying to tie it around her leg. And the police didn't get there, man, about 10. No, let me take that back. Police got there about 8 minutes. The ambulance didn't get there for about 12. Now, mind you, we right next door to Ascension. I don't know what took them so long, but anyway, they finally came and they hoisted the girl up over the fence because they couldn't come in, all the cars, so they wouldn't have been able to get off in there. So they came in that little Jewish graveyard right next to Graceland. And they came and they hoisted the body over. And so we was there. Everybody was kind of like shook. I can't speak for everybody. I was shook. I was good and shook. I'll tell you how God worked. One of the police officers that knew me from Horley, he came up and he said, Johnny, he said, how long would it take? And I said, man, just a couple minutes. And so he made dude bag down. He like fanned him off, like, man, let him go ahead. And so I got my book and I was getting ready to put my hand on the coffin. And that's when I realized that 3 of them bullets had hit off the top. I didn't notice it at first, like I said, I was on the ground. But 3 of them bullets, you know how Wolverine claws, how his claws like hit off or something? The first bullet just knocked like some paint off. And the other 2 looked like they was trying to dig off in the coffin, like they went off in there and then they like ricocheted up. The second and the third bullet, but the first one just like, bam, like hit some paint off. But the second 2 dug off in that joint about like, almost like between an 1/8 and a 1/4 of an inch, like went off in the coffin, and then they looked like they got redirected. And when I started getting ready to read, I got choked up and I started crying again because I was like, man, I could have been dead instead of just shook up. They could have took me, but you know, God spared me again. And so then I got myself back together and we went on and did it. And stood around for a couple people to talk to people, man, see if everybody was all right. Then I was getting ready to leave. A couple cats was over there by their car. They were like, man, Pastor, man, that's effed up, man. You had to be off in this, man. They were like, man, how we gonna fix this? And I said, bruh, I said, if God don't get involved, I said, this thing gonna stay broken.
Wow. That's all I can say is wow. Whatever's happening in Racine need to stop happening. These young cats need to sit down, take a chill pill, and stop all this madness, because it's getting out of hand. You know what I mean? It's like these kids were born with no souls. They ain't got no regard for human life anymore.
I'm just worried about the community because every day people are dying, injured, and everything. And I don't. If I have kids, I don't want to end up like them. I don't want the kids to end up like the people shooting people. I don't want to lose nobody else in my family. I already lost my mom and my uncle, and I don't want to see no one else get hurt.
The number one thing that I see that hurts our cause and is quite detrimental internally is the single parent birth rate, because that just furthers the destruction of the black family. The TV might not show it, and people might not talk about it, but we got some cold-blooded people out here today, man. Yeah, police kill black people at their discretion at a moment's notice. But who's really killing who? Shit.
When Marcus first was born, his ears. That's the first thing we noticed about Marcus. His ears stood out more than anything. He was so little. Marcus weighed like 5 pounds, 6 ounces. And I was like saying in my head, this is a blessed child. Because I was going to have an abortion with Marcus. When I went to the abortion clinic, I was like 4.5, 5 months pregnant. They was like, you got a full-term baby. And I was like, dang. So I cried when I walked out the abortion clinic, like, I can't handle 3 kids. So he came and he was here. And when he got here, I just looked at him and was like, it was meant for you to be here. I always thought he was going to be a football player because he played with football throughout his childhood years. In elementary school, he was my problem child. So when I first knew that Marcus was special, the first time he signed it up for AAU, I said, he was kind of like clumsy with the ball or whatever, and I said, no, you can't play no basketball. That's what I told him. You can't play basketball. He said, you can't tell me I can't play basketball. I can't play basketball. I said, okay, well, you got to prove me wrong. So from there on out, when he started doing AAU and Optimus, shouts out to Jimmy. Jimmy led him on from there on out, and he learned the ropes of basketball. And ever since then, that's when I knew my son was special. Every holiday, we never miss a holiday, Marcus would be the first one up, ready to get dressed. And if wasn't nobody else going to that parade, Marcus was walking to that parade by himself. And he'd be like, Mom, if anybody come looking for me, tell them I'm at the parade. They just have to find me in the midst of the crowd. So holidays were special to our family. We never missed a holiday. Our family got together, barbecued, cooking, celebrating, fireworks. It was just a special to us. We never missed a holiday. He tried football. So when he first tried out for football, he played in a game in Kenosha and he got tackled. And when he got tackled, he was like, this ain't for me. I'm a leader. No, I can't do this. They not finna tackle me. Ma, I can't play football. And ever since then, he never played football again. He went to the King Center and playing basketball every day. That's when I knew. And he used to practice with my cousin Dazan. Dazan taught him the ropes. And ever since then, he was like, I want to play basketball. At first, I was like, when I used to see all the little girls and the boys always around them, and I was like, I was wondering, like, what's special about my son? Why do all these boys look up to him and like him? And one day he said and told me, he said, Ma, I'm gonna be something special. He said, I just want to get you out of here. I just want my family to be out of here and I just want y'all to be happy. I'm doing this for y'all. And I said, that's what I want from you. And I said, well, why are these everybody like you and be all around you? He said, Mom, because when I'm outside, it might look different to other people. He said, but I really be talking to them and tell them, like, man, we got to do this for our family. We got to do this for our kids. This ain't no place to be for us. Like, it's either we gonna end up dead or they want to see us locked up. And ever since then, everybody just started looking up to him because he was encouraging. He wasn't like the type of person that was down talking somebody, or if they got in trouble, he wasn't negative about it. He was always giving positive feedback. So that's why I always noticed that people was always liking him and looking up to him because of his personality. When I say I never thought that he would be the dad that he was, but he showed me different. He got up with her every morning, took her to school, pick her up from school, be outside playing with her. The first thing he'd ask her, you got homework? And she'd say no. And he'd be like, go get your book bag. I know you're telling a story. Dang, that made me proud because he was so young as a parent, and you don't see most parents at that young age trying to make sure that their child succeed in life. Sometimes, like when he'd come from basketball, he'd be like, Mom, they expecting this of me. They want me to do this. And he was like, I can't teach the whole team if they don't want to be taught. And I just be like, Marcus, just focus on yourself. If you can help them, then help them. And don't think about what nobody else think about you.
Earl was one of the most charismatic little dudes. He's reminded me of myself, but I was much older. Earl was like, at 17 and 18, Earl had the swagger in the game that I had at 22. Everybody loved Earl. Earl know how to get off in them teachers' pocket. He know how to get off in their heart, man. They hate Earl and they love Earl. Well, no, I hated Earl and loved Earl at the same time. They didn't know nothing but love for Earl. And I was like, man, y'all not helping Earl because, see, at the end of the day, I know Earl gonna not be a kid. He gonna be a grown black man, and I know what that struggle is. And so I had to stand on Earl's head more than they did. Oh, I just love Earl. You know, that was the hey, I love Earl too. But y'all not helping Earl by writing him a pad. Earl to come to Earl be like, man, you gotta go get a pad. Oh man, forward. He always said my name twice. Forward. I'd be like, man, I just let you go yesterday, man. Go get a pad. He'd come back smiling. He'd come back with the pad. Yeah, boy, get out of here. So I go down there and I check the secretary. Oh, you know, Johnny, he just came down with that smile. I'm like, hey, the police officer ain't accepting his smile when they pull him over. You not helping him. I got into it with a couple of them, man, and the coach, Tretlard, Earl, we had summer school, and Earl didn't do no work. Earl had them little white girls doing the work for him. I'm telling you, Earl was a charmer, man. Earl was a charmer, and we had summer school that year over at Gilmore, and Tretlard was, he was the summer school teacher for that class. And Earl passed that class, and I think Earl showed up 3 times. Earl come in, I'd be like, Earl, come on, man. You know you got to be here 80% of the time. Pass that class. Chill out, for chill out. Chill out, for I said, no, I ain't no chilling out, man. I said, dude, you about to be a grown man. I said, it's real on the other side of these doors. School letting y'all do some stuff that the real world not accepting. That's my story to these young cats, man. You know, they got these things called IEPs, and they give these children labels, man, at an early age, man, and the parents is copping a plea. No, sometimes your kid need his butt whooped. Sometimes you need to stand on his head. Don't let them people give your kids all this medicine and dumb them down and debilitate their mind from continuing to grow. Yeah, we all got different issues and struggles, and some kids don't learn fast as others. But now the system is set up to just dope our kids up and slide them through school and let them think, oh, that's all right. But on the other side of the door, you know, when they in the hallway and they going crazy and cussing me out and doing, I'm like, man, oh nigga, that's in my IEP. No, it's not. I said, okay, well, that's what they got, what they saying that. Now they're using this as a crutch. I said, when they pull you over out in the street, you think that police officer gonna ask you, let me see your IEP? He gonna be like, no, let me see your license. And I said, and then when he come back and run your name and you got 2 warrants, you think he gonna let you off the hook because you got an IEP or because they said you had a disability? No. I said, you think they're gonna pull a rubber nightstick out and hit you across the head with it? They're gonna hit me with the wooden one? I said, you're gonna get the same treatment as a regular person. I said, don't let these people fool you into thinking that you're gonna have the same gravy and the same sweetness outside these school doors. I said, because it's not gonna happen.
I was at home. It was Sweetest Day. Everybody know Marcus had came home earlier that day, got dressed, put on his little new clothes that his girlfriend had bought him for Sweetest Day. His little Sweetest Day gift. Let's see what he got. Oh, he got some of these.
Appreciate your black queens, man, while you can.
Marcus was planning on leaving the next day. He had a flight out. He had a job and he was going down to one of the colleges down there. He had a basketball game that day too. So he came in and he was like, Mom, I'm finna go to my basketball game. I'll call you when I get back. Me, Quasia, Nikwa, and Kayla, all of us was at the house and we just sitting there and I was doing Quasia hair. And my phone rung. And when I picked it up, all I can hear is screaming and crying in the background. And I'm like, hello, hello. All I kept on saying was hello, hello. And I barely could understand what the person was saying. So I was like, huh? And they was like, Ma, E just got shot. So I still didn't understand because they was crying. And they was like, E just got shot. And I was like, what? Who? And they was like, Earl. That instant, I dropped the phone. I just started crying. I ran out the house. At that moment, it was like my heart was stopping. Because I never thought like it was nothing major or serious. So at this time, I'm getting a car and I'm calling, trying to call the number back because I still don't know where it was at. So at this point, I'm just following the sirens. So I get around corner on Yao Street and I just see a whole bunch of people out there. At this point, I still don't see Marcus. I still didn't know where he was at. And I'm looking. I walk up and I'm screaming. I'm just like, where my baby? Where my baby at? Where he at? So then a couple people grab me. And at this point, I see yellow tape. And when I see yellow tape, I instantly like, this can't be good. So finally, when I look over, I see my baby laying on the ground. And I try to run over there, but the police stopped me. And at this point, I'm hysterical. I'm just crying. Like, please, God, please. That's all I could say was, God, please let my baby be all right. Please let my baby be all right. And I'm just screaming. Everybody just hold me and talking to me, trying to console me. And I'm like, I still look over there and I'm like, man. So finally, I see the rescue squad. So an officer come over there and like, we gotta pause. And I'm like, thank God, thank God. So at this point, I'm thinking I'm going back to the car for to get in the car and head to the hospital. At this point, I'm like, is he gone yet? Is he gone? And they like, no, he's still laying there. He's still laying there. So once I seen the sirens go off, I knew right then that it wasn't good. So they still didn't tell me that he was gone until finally a detective came over and was like, "I'm sorry for your loss." And I'm like, "What?" And he was like, "I'm sorry for your loss." And at that point, I couldn't do nothing but break down, and I just cried. Like, God, why? Just why? What happened? And I didn't know what happened. So I was torn. I was messed up. So
when it get real, they know they can come talk to me. And it done been real with a whole lot. Me and Trail wasn't there long enough for me and him to kind of like establish that rapport. But me and Earl was my guy, man. Earl would come and talk to me. And, you know, he'd be like, "Man, when they get hard or something happens, he'd be like, "Man, I should listen to you." And I said, "Yeah, that's the thing about it." I said, "Man, ain't no rewind on it." I said, "Man, you missed that story when I was giving it, man." I said, "I can't keep telling you the same story." I said, "Because it ain't gonna change." I said, "What you need to do and what need to be done is still the same." I said, "So you remember what I said?" I said, "You got to apply it." And I'll never forget, man, last time I seen Earl alive, I think it was like 2 or 3 weeks before he got killed. I was coming down North Memorial and I slowed up. And I said, "Man, what are you doing?" He's like, "Forward." And I pulled over and I hollered at him and he said he was going to school. He was going to school too. I said, "Man, what is you doing back?" Because Gary Cotton and a couple other people was helping. They had like I think MATC had started like a program like basketball, like college basketball. I don't know if they was D3, whatever it was, but they were doing, Gary Cotton and a couple other people doing what they could to help Earl, you know, get to the next level. And when I seen him walking, I pulled over and hollered at him, and he said he was going to school. He was getting ready to go to school. As a matter of fact, I'd even heard the night that he got killed, he's supposed to be leaving for school the next day. That's what they said. But I seen him a couple weeks before that. It was the last time I seen Earl living.
I just want to say, first of all, thank you for giving me the opportunity to be able to be up here on a day of this magnitude. What an honor it is to be able just to share a few things about somebody that everybody cared so much about, Marcus. An incredible individual who, as we've talked about so many times over the last couple of weeks, that infectious smile and the way he was able to bring people together and the presence that he had. There's a reason why the parking lot is still full. People are watching the live stream because so many people cared and loved Marcus.
You got to allow somebody else to help you. You just cannot say, "You got it, I got it." You know, of course we want to have it, but they need some type of male positive role model in their life at all times. So we just got to allow the village to help us raise them. He likes Steph Curry a lot. You know, beyond the 3-point shooting, I think he liked him because of the hustle in him, you know, and the family man, the religious background, all of that, you know, captivated him. Because I took him to a Golden State game in Milwaukee here, and he was excited. He loved it. So that was probably the first basketball game as well. I'm okay now, sort of. But he did everything he wanted to do. He did everything he wanted to. He had fun doing it. He done traveled. He knew God. Had plenty money, his own money he done made. He worked. He had women. Just didn't have any children, but he did everything I'm sure a 17-year-old child would want to do. He did it. So that helps my heart a lot.
It still haven't made any sense to me. We went through trial. In that trial, he still don't know why he did it. He even said that, I don't know why I shot him. We kept on hearing so many mixed stories, like he felt threatened for his life, and then we heard him and the guy got into it in the house, and he felt disrespected. It was just so many stories. So at this point, we still don't know the true meaning of what happened, how it happened, and why it happened. He was greatness. He was wonderful. He was my star. And he never was harm to anybody. Everybody know that my son was polite, respectful. He showed you love. Even if he didn't know you, he still got to know you. He cared. He was a human being. And for somebody to take his life with no explanation is really hard. And it's hard for us. It's going to be 2 years. And as a parent, I still haven't been able to close. Every day I wake up and I just be wishing that he was still here. Seeing his daughter growing up without her dad is rough. It's rough on us. It's rough on our family. And to the mothers that have lost a child, I know they pain. And no mother should ever have to go through this. Our saying was always, a child should bury their mother before a mother bury their child. And he was something special to us. All my son ever wanted to do was play basketball, make his family proud, make his daughter proud, make me proud. And that's never gonna happen.
And that's what we have in Racine right now. We have a disconnect. You got a couple factions, you got a couple people that do what they do, and they don't do it because they love the city, because they love the people. They do it for a platform. They do it for some likes on Facebook. I ain't that nigga. I still ain't even on Facebook. I don't care nothing about it. And the only reason I got on the gram because I was about to go crazy when COVID was going on. I just had it, you know what I'm saying? So anyway, I'm not doing nothing I do for a platform. God done remind me a couple times. He didn't condone what I did in the streets, but I already been that nigga. Some people trying to be that now, and the train done left the station. I don't have to try to go back and do that. He said, you've been that. Now I have allowed and gave you a platform where you can reach the lost. But you can only reach them through love. There ain't nothing I can say right now, man, because the ears have been deafened. They don't want to hear what we got to say. But they want to see what I'm going to do. They watching for that.
White society can't be blamed for me killing you down the block for dealing. Oh, well, there's a whole lot of theories to that I used to kind of believe. Well, we're pushed into these corners and the amenities are and resources are short, and so it creates poverty, and then poverty breeds rage. And okay, I used to buy into that, and it makes sense, and there's truth to it, but it still don't excuse the lack of morality. You know, it just don't excuse that. I mean, hell, all of us, well, a lot of us have been in situations where it's like, should I take this nigga out? You know, I mean, we can throw our chest out this far, but what we really feel inside, you know, sometimes. Shit, yeah, there have been times that I've been scared of a nigga enough to say, hey, I better do something to him, you know, before he do something to me.
I'm from a state known as Wisconsin.